back to the fort. We are picking up with chapter 5 in our new Dragon Master's book, where a new Dragon Master named Petra has come to be the Dragon Master for the new dragon, the Hydra dragon that was captured from Maldred. And the name of this book is The Song of the Poison Dragon. So let's pick up. Chapter 5 A Nervous Hydra. The next day, the dragon masters brought their dragons to the courtyard as the king had asked. Are you sure we have to do this? Petra asked, walking with the Hydra behind her. This won't take long, Griffith promised. The king just wants to show off your dragon to Queen Rose. Drake was happy to be outside with Worm. His earth dragon slid across the grass beside him. Shu was next to Bo, and Kepri walked with Anna, and Vulcan stomped along behind Rory. Did you name your Hydra yet? Rory asked Petra. Not yet, Petra replied. You can't rush these things. King Roland stood in the courtyard waiting for them. He was tall with a bushy red beard. Queen Rose from the kingdom of Arkwood stood next to him. She had a kind face, and she wore her hair in two long braids. Behind them, the king's guards were trying to hold back a crowd of villagers. I thought we were just going to meet the king and Queen Rose, said Petra. Why are so many people here? Word must have gotten out that the dragons would be outside, Drake guessed. The villagers had been very excited about the dragons ever since they found out about them. King Roland came toward them. Good morning, Griffith, he said in a booming voice. Thank you for bringing the dragons. The king walked up to the Hydra and then turned to Queen Rose. See, the new dragon has 4 heads, he said, just like I told you. This is an amazing dragon, the queen said. What can she do? Griffith started to talk about the Hydra. 2 little kids ran past the guards. They each had a dragon toy, a dragon head with a long ribbon tail attached to a stick. They chased each other around the courtyard, waving the sticks. The Hydra's 4 mouths frowned as the kids got closer. Her 2 front teeth started to paw the ground. Drake noticed it, but Petra had her back to the dragon. Then Drake's dragon stone started to glow. That sometimes meant that Worm was trying to tell him something. Now he could hear Worm inside his head. Petra must calm the Hydra. She must pat her heads right away. Drake nodded at Worm. Drake ran up to Petra. Petra, your dragon is nervous, he whispered to her. You must pat her heads. Pat her heads? Petra asked. She looked pale. The Hydra started to snort and pant. Is something wrong with this dragon? King Roland asked. Petra, do it now, Drake urged. You don't pat Hydra's heads, she said. You're supposed to, pat their tails. Everyone knows that. She moved to the back of the Hydra, reached out, and patted her tail. Aye! The dragon cried out. The Hydra went, Aye! One of the heads reared back, the head closest to King Roland. A light mist sprayed upon the head's mouth. King Roland fell to the ground. Oh no. Chapter 6 Poison. Everything happened at once. Queen Rose ran to King Roland's side. His skin was starting to turn green. Somebody help him, she cried. Petra's eyes were wide with shock. The villagers started to yell. The beast hurt the king. Stop that dragon. The villagers tried to push past the guards, but Drake looked at Worm. Get the Hydra inside. Quick, he said. Worm nodded. He touched the Hydra with the end of his tail. Worm's body glowed green. The Worm and Hydra disappeared. Back to the training room. Hurry, Griffith told the dragon masters. I will see to the king. The dragon masters raced back to the caves with their dragons. When the dragon masters reached the classroom, Rory marched up to Petra. What did you do? I don't know, Petra shouted. We know that the Hydra's poison is strong, said Bo. The king must have breathed in the mist, and it made him sick. Is there a cure? Rory asked Petra. I I don't know, Petra admitted. But I thought you knew everything, Rory said, and Petra's face turned red. Can't Shu cure him like she's cured Emperor Song? Anna asked. Bo shook his head. Shu can only undo dark magic spells, not poison. Maybe the answer is in a book, Drake guessed. Drake, Rory, Bo, and Anna ran to the bookshelf. Look for books about hydras, Bo said, scanning the titles, and poison dragons. Drake glanced behind him and saw Petra standing in the doorway. Come help us, he said. There are lots of books. Petra joined them. The dragon masters each took a book. They were all reading when Griffith returned. How is the king? Bo asked. Griffith frowned. Very ill, I'm afraid. He has a fever and has not woken up. We must find a cure for the hydra's poison. I found something, Anna said, pointing to a page in her book. It says here that the hydra can cure someone hurt by its own poison. But it doesn't say how. Interesting, said Griffith. Perhaps Petra can connect with the hydra to find the answer. But the hydra doesn't want to connect with me, Petra said. Look what happened when I touched her. Petra, you still must try, said Griffith. You are a dragon master now, and the king needs you. Everyone looked at Petra. I'll do it, she said quietly. Then her voice got louder, like she was trying too hard to be brave. I am a dragon master, just like all of you. Wow. We will pick up tomorrow night with chapter 7 to see what happens next and to see if Petra can figure all this out.